back. It's been a while since I've made a video. You can see the steam coming off of my tea right now. It's just been a while since I've even been on this channel. Let me get this out of my way. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been here, and you know, I weirdly just haven't. It's felt like lately I haven't been as reflective as I typically am in life, and I've been wondering why, or wondering if maybe I'm just at a different point in my life than I was, or whatever it is. But I've just been feeling very strange lately, and I figured that this could be a lot of things within me needing to come out sometimes in this video format. So I did want to come back on here and just talk about some things, because I find that it's easy for me personally to get very overwhelmed by life quickly, to get like overwhelmed by it, aggravated, like disturbed, anxious by it, by people, by the things they say, by the things people do. And I find that I feel this way quite often. And I just feel like it's something that I am quite sure that it's not just me who is this way. And I think that partially it's because of the world that we live in. And I say world with these for a reason, because I see life in a certain way, personally. So I'm sort of dual-minded. I kind of see life the way anyone else would. Anyone else, meaning most people, or the traditional mindsets of, okay, we're on this planet, we're the species that live on this planet, we don't really know why we're here, but we've made these religions or whatever to try to understand this. But I'm also in this mindset that sorry about the background interruptions. I'm also under the impression that I also don't edit my videos, so if there's any pauses, I just prefer to keep it as is. But some days I'm sharper and faster, but as you can see, I get very self-critical even when I'm in the middle of speaking, and I've talked about that before, sort of. But I personally do think of life in I think life is primarily mental, meaning we are experiencing it from within, because we are. And that's why I find perspective to be very important, because I think it doesn't really necessarily matter what is happening in your life, because the way we see things is everything. So anything can be happening, good or bad, and we can sort of choose to have it be something bad or have it be something good. This sounds very simple, but it's true. So what I mean is, me personally, I felt extremely stressed for a while now. And I was thinking about back to the beginning of this year, 2024, how I was feeling. How I was feeling at the end of 2023. And I just found that this year I had a lot of growth as a person, but I also underwent, I experienced a lot of things a lot of stress and anxiety that I hadn't, on a level that I hadn't really dealt with before, honestly. And now I am continuously trying to understand what my perspective of life is, so that I can apply it properly and not be completely consumed by other people's perceptions and by other people's beliefs and other people's words and what they think and believe and feel, because that isn't me. You don't have to think, believe, feel anything that anyone else does. Just want to say that, Because I personally know in my mind that the things I believe or feel are different than a lot of people that I am around on the regular in my life. And this will cause me a lot of distress. And I'll feel like, what's wrong with me? Why do I think this way and everyone else thinks that way? The funny thing is, I had believed what I had believed for a while, and I hadn't had those thoughts, or it didn't really concern me to this level. And I don't know why, why it's all of a sudden become this source of disturbance for me on such a serious level, but it has. And it just has, and I don't know why necessarily, but I know that people, the things they say, the things they do disturbs me. The reason it disturbs me is I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And, I personally, in my life, personally, not that I'm gonna get into details about anything like that, because it's just not what I do here, but I'll just say I am around people who very openly express their beliefs, who very openly speak on what they believe in, or their religion, etc. And the way these people speak about these things, they speak about it as if anyone who does not think what they think is wrong, is bad, is immoral, is deserving of sort of abandonment, or like just kind of being separate, being I can't think of the right word, but these people sort of, without saying it, it's implied within the things they say that I'm very passionate about this, but that they don't condone anyone thinking anything that they don't think. I've always understood that people come at things from a limited perspective. I find that frightening on a lot of levels, because I feel like there's so much information now. There are so many ways to open your mind to everything. And I'm somebody who, I have an extremely open mind. It's too open sometimes. I'm trying to shut it. No, I'm just joking. But I do have a very open mind, and to a point that is dangerous at times. Now, I don't see dangerous like actually dangerous. I mean dangerous in the sense that it can cause me to start to question my beliefs. However, that can be a good thing. But I think that me sort of thinking that maybe my beliefs are wrong, or that I'm wrong, I'm a wrong being. My being is in some way immoral, or is in some way unacceptable, or that's where I think it becomes wrong. So I think anyone can think anything they want. It doesn't really bother me per se, because I know that what I believe is something that is more like I know than believe. And I've proven it to myself, the things I believe in. For example, I've mentioned in every video, I think, on here, that Edward Art is really who inspired me to even make a YouTube channel or start speaking on these things, because his work, adapted from Neville Goddard's work, completely changed my life, and is still the foundation of the way I live my life, the way I think of the world, the way I apply myself to the world. And honestly, I don't know, it's been an enormous tool, an enormous perspective shift. And it's something where I've proven to myself that the things that Edward Art is speaking about, or Neville Goddard was speaking about, are real. They're very real, practical, applicable things. And just from having that mindset, but also being open-minded enough to see that most people just don't think that way, or they're not going to ever think that way because they're stuck in one way. it does cause me some distress, I think, because not that I'm upset that they believe in something else, but it's more like I wonder how people would behave if they knew that they don't have to act a certain way to be accepted. I wonder how would people act if they knew that they're not being... People sort of treat life like they're like kindergartners in a classroom, and their teacher is going to give them a gold star, or I don't know what the opposite is. I'm thinking of School of Rock when he says demerits or whatever. It doesn't matter. People think that life is like that. I did this good thing today. I did this bad thing today. Now I'm good or I'm bad. And people who, oh, you did something bad. Well, teacher's going to catch you. Teacher's going to catch you, and they're not going to like it. And you're going to be punished, and you don't deserve anything. And I might not be articulating this in the best way, but I hope you understand what I'm saying without me having to completely get explicitly worded. And the thing that frightens me personally is I actually was very afraid to speak on these things before, because it felt unsafe too, actually. It felt like something bad was going to happen if it was almost like a secret. Like, you had to, like, if these were things, if you sort of believed that imagining creates reality, then you had to sort of hide that, because people were going to hate you or something, is what I would think. I would think that my disbelief in other things would cause this sort of hatred to come about. And honestly, I still feel that way to an extent, but I'm at the point where this is my channel and I can talk about whatever I want. And if somebody doesn't like it, they don't have to sit and give me their time watching it. And it's that simple. And you're allowed to think whatever you want, by the way. You're allowed to think whatever you want. You're allowed to be whoever you want. You're allowed to say whatever you want. Now, don't hurt people. This is given, though. This is like, I feel like when I say these things, these are just like, if you truly understood that you don't have to behave a certain way, you don't have to be a certain way to be accepted or put on this mask, I wouldn't even need to say, don't be a bad person, don't be mean to people, because you would just have no desire to be. The thing is, when you truly get to a place of true self-acceptance, then, and I'll explain what I think self-acceptance is, but when you truly get to that place, I don't think you even have the urge to do that. And I made a video about judgment. I almost bring up this video in almost all my videos. It was the first video or recording I ever made that I posted on here, talking about release your judgment on yourself. And it's like a daily practice. It's not like something I did one time and now I'm just good. It's something I have to constantly come back to, constantly remember. Because the second you forget, you're just living your life and you kind of get in this hypnotization. You forget that you are in control, that you have the power over your own life. And sort of giving your power away all the time to other people and this and that, giving away your power to create your own identity to anybody is a disservice. A disservice to the highest good of the world when you do that. That is the true disservice. Not what you wore today, or how you talk, or what does somebody think about you. I'm being honest, do not ever care about that. Because it does not matter. It does not. It doesn't even matter a little. It doesn't even matter a little bit. And I'll be honest, do I get upset or, I'm a human being. Yes. But I can say one thing. I do not care what you think of me. I do not care what anybody does. Because it doesn't matter. It's not because it's not like anything against anybody, that I don't care what they think about me, but it's that their opinion of me doesn't matter. And my opinion of you doesn't matter. It doesn't. What matters is what do you see yourself as? And self-acceptance, we have to understand what the self is. And the self is an internal being. It is not this outside being. I honestly don't have much of an identity to my outside being. I just, it's something that I don't find identity in, per se. Now, that doesn't mean I don't, look a way that I want to look or something. But it is also like, it just isn't everything to me. Because who I am is nothing to do with that. This is just a body that I'm comfortable in because it's mine, and that's the end of story. And I think that self-acceptance is, you have to accept who the self is. When you understand that the self is an internal being, and Edward Art will call this the inner man. And I don't know, for some reason, when I first came across his work and started thinking of in terms like that, I just experienced a complete shift. Because I realized that it doesn't matter what people think of me. It doesn't, because I can be whoever I want to be. And nobody can tell me anything. Nobody can control anything you do inside yourself. You are in total control. When I say you're in control, what I mean is you are in control of everything internally. And if everything internally creates itself externally, then it simply implies that you're in control more than you know. A lot more. I try to remember this. It's easy to forget, though. It is easy to forget. I won't lie. Maybe it's just, for me personally, it is easy to forget. I'm a very busy person, and I get just caught up in crap. I get very caught up, and I don't come back home. You have to keep coming back home. Keep coming back home. Because you know that home isn't here. And you are in control of it. Nobody can make you feel anything that you don't want to feel. It is a choice to feel it. Now, this is like a sort of radical responsibility that you take on. And that's sort of Edward Art will call this the pearl of great price. And yeah, that's exactly what it is, because, and he may have been talking about something, I think it was along these lines, what I'm saying, but at least the way I see those things is, or see something like that, is this total responsibility. Okay, I'm taking total responsibility. This means that I can't blame anybody else anymore. This means I can't judge anybody else anymore, because when I'm judging somebody, I'm judging myself, because there is no difference there. Everything out here, it's its own thing, and I honestly don't have to accept anything from it that I don't want to. People can say do whatever they want. It doesn't have to affect me. Somebody close to me today said something to me that was so true, and so honestly, like, made me remember all this. And he'll know who he is, but what he said to me, I was talking about something that had bothered me, that had happened, things that had been said or whatever in my life. And he said, you don't have to make it part of your identity. And I think he didn't even realize how much wisdom is in that, because, or I'm sure he did, because he is a wise person who said this. But that's everything you need to know about life right there. Is that anything can happen. It doesn't have to affect self. What I mean by self, it's this internal sense of a self. It's this consciousness, this inner awareness, this inner being. You know that you have it, and you do. And I do, and everyone else does, because that's how you're aware and alive and breathing. And that is the being that we're concerned with. That's the being we're concerned with. So people can say whatever they want to you. They can say anything to you. You are still in control of how that makes you feel. Now, I'm not saying that you should be emotionless, or that you're gonna be emotionless, because I'm personally someone who has a lot of emotions. But I have to keep reminding myself that I cannot continue to allow others, these external things, these external factors, to dictate where I am internally. Because it doesn't have to, and it shouldn't. And it honestly is backwards, because it's coming this way. Tea break. I had just said I don't edit my videos, but I just sat here for 2 minutes waiting for things to quiet down, so I'm gonna edit that out because it's boring. But I'll be honest with you, I have a hard time sometimes believing in my own imagination. It's not like it's easy. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, this is so easy, why aren't you guys doing this? I get very caught up by life. I get very overwhelmed by it. And I feel like I have no control. Oh my gosh. And then I'm like, that's not true. And the thing is, I know this in the very back of my mind. But it's like all these fears are all like in the way sometimes. And I have a very hard time getting back to that place, because I have all these fears. What if it's not real? What if I shouldn't believe in this, or I should believe in something else, or I should believe that everything externally is out of my control, or I should believe that, etc., etc. But I know, even if I don't feel or I don't believe, and now belief is a difficult subject, I think, to talk about, because what is belief? I have a hard time believing these things sometimes. I won't lie, but I do believe them, and I feel them, because I know they're true. It's wonderful news. All this stuff is wonderful news, and I'm here to spread the wonderful news to anybody who may need it, because I know that I need it right now. I do. So if I do, you might. That's what's true to me. And thank you for watching my video. And bottom line is, I can get so worried. I can get so caught up in my mind, and then I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Because I can either strain and stress and go, I need to control everything, I need to do all these things, I need to do X, Y, and Z, I need to freak out. Or I can just leave it all alone. Leave it alone. Let it play out. Leave it be. Am I taking care of myself? Do I know where I'm at internally? I'm prioritizing that. So, prioritizing that in the sense that I understand that I am in control internally, so I must take control. Instead of knowing my power, it's like me knowing, it is exactly like this. Knowing I have a power, you have a power, it's the same power. Knowing I have it but choosing not to use it out of fear is an issue, because it's working anyway. And Edward will always talk about this. It's happening anyway. So you either create good harvests or bad harvests, but it's your choice. And I know this, I have to take this advice myself. So in a way, I make these videos for myself, but I share them to you because I know that if it's helping me, it may help someone else. But I think that's it for today. Again, apologize about the whispering, but it's kind of a metaphor for my channel, is how it feels. Thank you for listening. I'll be back when I have more to speak on, but know that my channel is a place of acceptance, and I accept you for who you are. and you should accept you for who you are. And I need to accept me for who I am. And I honestly do. But other people will bother me sometimes. And I'm like, you know what? Let them do their thing. Stop letting it get to you. Because it's a choice to let it get to me. I'm choosing it. I have to stop choosing it. And you have to stop choosing it too. So that's it for my video. I've said that a couple times, but this is actually the end. And I'll be back when I have more to speak about. But I hope it was helpful. Thank you for listening.